What would you say your biggest achievement is?
My biggest achievement is listening to my own thoughts and actioning on them rather than sitting back and wishing and accepting what life put in front of me. I'm a shopkeeper's son, it's a penny business. I got average 5 A to C grades in school. I'm nothing special, I'm not that great in my further education. Yeah, I should just get a 9-to-5 job until I'm 60 and live off my pension. My greatest thing is I didn't accept that. And I said, no, I am worth so much more and I can't wait to show the world what I'm made of and what I can do.
Welcome to the I Love Monday podcast. Today we're going to speak to the property and finance expert who bought his first property at 21 and became a millionaire at 26. So we're going to speak to Sean Land and go through his journey from the bottom, and I'll say he's probably at the middle at the moment and he's on his way to the top. Welcome, Sean.
Thanks, Zaid. Thank you for having me on the show.
So let's get straight into it. Talk me through your journey so far.
So I'm somebody who's come from humble beginnings. I started in a corner shop from the age of 8, listening to the conversations with my dad, stocking up shelves, learning up VATs and markups, going to normal school, and every day after school I'd go and help my dad at the shop. I'd also be there on the weekends, and I believed that's the fundamental change that led me to be successful.
How old were you then?
8, 9, 10, 11, 12, these were the beginnings, the beginning ages where I started developing myself. And I believe these habits, through compounding over time, made the biggest changes. So while I was at the shop, I listened to many different conversations. I learned about human behaviors. If somebody was going to come in to steal something, buy something, just to come and window shop, you started learning the normal traits. And my dad would just be like, just sit down, Sean, and just watch, observe. And he used to test me all the time.
When you were 8 years old and someone came to nick something, what did you do?
I got scared. I'm like, like I had this, like, I don't know if you ever have a negative feeling subconsciously and you've got your heartbeat in your stomach. That's how I felt, and I thought it was the end of the world. And then you realize it's not, and your dad just goes, look, mistake we made there was put it on the counter. We want to take it something off the shelf, but put it off, not on the counter, but we've took it off the shelf and put it on. They've got to pay before we give it. You know, so just small little things like that. Like, you can't overlook these small little things. So that's where I actually started. But I never ever used to get paid because I lived in my father's house and I ate in his house, you know. So I actually really wanted to start working as soon as possible because I wanted to start getting paid. So by the age of 13, 14, my dad used to go shopping in a cash and carry. And I met this guy, Sanjay Wadwani, who was down Hackney, where the Westfield's all built now. But yeah, I started working there. And all I had to do was pick up large items. So if my dad sold a box of cornflakes, this place would be selling like eight boxes of cornflakes in this massive bulk. We'd scan it, put it on another trolley, and just make a bill and give it to the client. And I hear at the age of 13, 14, I started learning multiple streams of income. Because this one time, a lady seemed quite old. She was taking a big trolley to her car and she needed some help. And I said, look, I'll help you. Loaded her car up and she took this crispy £5 note out. And she goes, this is for you. And I said, no, I can't take that because we weren't even allowed to take a penny from the till or anything extra. So she gave me this money and she goes, no, it's for you. So I came in and I saw my manager, Paul, and went, Paul, this £5 here for you. He's took it and he goes, no, this for you. That's yours. You're allowed to take this. This is your tea money, your tip money. So I had a light bulb moment. I went, £5, 8 customers, that's £40 I could make a day. I get £3 an hour in 10 hours. That's £30. I can earn more in the same amount of time. So I saw the benefit of really working hard at my job and being the best I could be. So I did that for a few years as well. So I used to do it mainly on the weekends or summer holidays. And I even used to try like save money from that as well. Because my dad would always be like, have you got any money for a rainy day? And I was like, what's a rainy day? He goes, well, sometimes you get an unexpected bill. I'm like, what's an unexpected bill sort of thing? He goes, what if I'm short one day and I need some of your help? So I was like, yeah, that's true. And there was one time, I don't know if he was testing me, but he goes, Sean, I need £20. Really need this money. And so I was like, yeah, I've got that. So I felt like a big man, like just giving my dad money, and I'm a teenager. And then he gave me he gave me £25 back, £5 on top of it. And I was like, that's not mine. And he goes, no, for giving me this money, I'll give you a little bit of interest on top. So I definitely saw the benefit of saving money and being in a position where I always had that sort of comfort. And from that age, I never really wanted to not have money.
But is that when you started saving up and pushing yourself to financial goals, or did you have any goals at that time?
So
you're still young.
I just learned the art of earning money and saving money and doing stuff with my money to create some sort of value. So I paid for my own university. Luckily, back then in 2004, 2007, it was around £1,200 a year. So it was a different ball game there. But I'd work the whole of summer, £300 a week or so. You know, within 1-2 months, I'd have my money there. You know, I'd obviously put some petrol in my car, go out with my friends, spend £100 on bowling or going out as boys do. But I always just tried to pay for my own expenses. But the most important thing was I learned the lesson of how to earn money and put it away and how to create the most value from it. So as soon as I got the money, I knew what to do with it. So I actually learned the art of doing, like, buying assets. But all of these lessons, it was just like my experience just grew and grew and grew and grew, and I had this powerful tool within me. It's like, how many millionaires have you heard say, if I lost it all today, I'd gain it back within, 2 to 5 years, I'd be a millionaire again. I could say the same thing purely because of my mindset and my habits, and all of that compounded over time now. So as soon as I started banking, so I finished my degree, I started in the bank, I started earning £1,500 a month, just being a normal cashier. Saturday, Sunday, I'd work in my McDonald's job. Saturday, I'd earn 100, Sunday, I'd earn 100, £200. End of the month, that was £800. I could survive on that £800. £1,500, banged it all into the savings account. 10 months, 15,000. First house, 140,000, 10%, 14,000. First year, 21, I knew I had to buy my first house. Gave it a lick of paint, and that's it. Rent was £1,000 and the mortgage was 500. I was again started this multiple streams of income I was talking about. I'm now earning from 5 days for my full time. I'm earning from my weekend job, and now I've got an asset in the background creating rent. £500 a month, 6,000 a year with that.
So going back to your job in the bank as a cashier and McDonald's, what did you learn from it that you still hold true to today?
So when I started McDonald's, I was 16. It was like, when I started at the cash and carry, it was a job that my dad got me. And I never felt really fully satisfied because I still felt attachment that my dad got me this job. I wanted to do it on my own. I wanted to make it, by myself. So I started I applied to McDonald's, and even that job, no one was giving jobs at that time. I walked in and I gave my CV to the girl at the front, and she goes, I don't think we're hiring at the moment, so maybe try in a couple of weeks. And I actually just went that step further and went, can I please speak to your manager? And she called the manager, and this guy Jason came out, and he goes, what are you looking for? I said, anything. He said, would you pick up trash in the car park area? I said, anything you want me to do, I just want a job. So he sat me down straight away. Another guy, Idris, came. Still in contact with all of these guys, by the way. Sat down, interviewed me. You're starting this Saturday. So just by being more inquisitive, being polite, showing the willingness to work, I got the opportunity straight away. And I nearly got sacked on my first day.
What did you do?
I was on grill side. I had to just get ketchup, mustard, onion, pickle, and then cheese if it was a cheeseburger. And I just couldn't get it. It was just too fast paced. There was 2 people on the grill behind me. There was other people dressing next to me. It was so loud and busy. I'm just not that person who just gets it straight away. Teach me properly. Once I got it, I'd put it on steroids, But I couldn't get it. And they went, get him off. He started slowing the whole production team down.
It teaches you the value of systems as well.
Yeah, definitely. So as I thought it was over, I went, look, I can do this. I went red in the face. I went, look, I can do this. I just need a bit more time. Can I do something else? And at that time, with the Big Mac meal, they were giving free nuggets away. So my job for the day was open up these bag of nuggets, put it in one of these trays and put it down, put 3 minutes, 30 seconds. Once it came up, put a scoop and wrap them up. That was my job for the whole day, all sweating in this cap. And they looked at me and they were like, okay, we're going to give you another shot. You didn't give up. You didn't like swear. You didn't, get angry. And I tell you, within 3 months, I was training other people. I went from a crew member straight to a training squad because I wanted to learn fry station. I wanted to learn chicken side, grill side. And when I wanted to learn the tills, they wouldn't let me learn the tills because they were like, we ain't got enough labor. So what did I do? So how long do I get for my break? 45 minutes. So I said, I can eat in 15 minutes. I said, can I work for free? And they go, yeah, if you want to. I said, all right, cool, I'll be back in 15 minutes. Went straight to the front counter, I said, I'm learning till. They said it was free labor. In two of them break times, sometimes people think you don't get paid for your time. But when you acquire a skill, then you're going to be getting paid. So this one time, it was 8 to 4, my shift was. I was about to finish at 4. They said, Sarah hasn't turned up for a shift. We need somebody for 3 hours. I said, I know the till. And they were like, oh yeah, he does. So I went 3 hours on the till. I earned more money. It was easier than this physical job rather than, hey, I just got to take this burger, put it in a bag, give it to you and a bit of change. That's how I saw it. So that's how I developed myself. And within 12 months, I was a manager.
So then you went to buy your first property at 21. What was the property? How much deposit did you have?
Yes. So
and why did you decide you want to buy a property?
So as a youngster, it's really important to have focus. So my focus started from a very young age. I saw 2 sets of accounts in the shop while I was there. They used to have these big lever arch folders, and I saw the shop Shines, and it used to have 3,000 or 4,000 in the current account, and I was like, yeah, it's a lot of money, but not so much money. And once this different bank account was there, and it said loads of zeros on it, and it said 70,000. And I knew we bought the butcher shop opposite, but it was only like 30,000 back then. My father and also my uncle bought it together, so 15,000 each. 10% deposit in them days, £3,000, and they weren't getting so much rent, but they'd do stuff like that. But I saw 70,000. I said, Dad, where did that money come from? And he goes, oh, that's from the rental side. I said, what's rental side? And he goes, oh, the properties we have, it accumulates money. And I was like, but I never see you there. And that account's always full. We're here 7 days a week, morning till night. And that's only got 3,000-4,000. I don't want to be a shopkeeper. That's a penny business. I want to be in the property game. So as I was growing up, I always knew that I wanted to start owning property because I just knew there was big numbers involved. So that's why I got into the property game, and I said, look, I need to get into this property game as soon as possible. If that's good, then yeah, be attracted to good things and be surrounded, be in that environment as soon as you can. So I started saving from my full-time job, as I said, in Barclays. But here's another thing: you should never ever take your eye off the ball. In 6 years in Barclays, it took me 2.5 years to get in the boardroom on 40,000 basic, and I used to take home £70,000. I still got promoted in my job. I was still a manager in McDonalds, so not a little crew member or training squad, and I was still accumulating property in the background. So whatever you are, remember your brand. Be the best you can be, and always make sure you're meeting all your targets and giving your 100% wherever you are, and not taking your eye off the ball because you've got a property in the background. So the first property, people say you can get lucky. I believe it's where, hard work sort of meets, your consistency, and opportunity just presents itself. You could be sat at home and not get that opportunity and whine about it. Oh, nothing happened for me today, but you was in your bed. If I just got out of my bed and I went out to work, I'm going to find an opportunity eventually. So you've got to meet them 2 things together down the middle. You can't just expect things to happen and fall on your lap. So I was at Barclays. My mortgage advisor was desperate to sell his house. It was around August time. He goes, Sean, I really want to sell this house. I want 170,000 for it. I said, no, I can't even afford that. He goes, yeah, I can do your mortgage for you. you've got the affordability. I said, no, I haven't. I'm not going to do it. And luckily, at that time, the market was different to now. Now you've got 10 people to one house.
What year was this?
We're talking like 2010. So back when I bought my first property, there was only normally one person that had turned up for a viewing. And at this time, this guy couldn't sell his property because it was in Dagenham. It wasn't that much of a favourable area. So I saw this opportunity and I just waited, and he couldn't find another buyer, and it called my bluff, and he said I'd reduce it to 140,000 for you.
This podcast is supported by High Castle Estates. We are an award-winning estate agency based in London, focusing on property management, sales and investment. So if you just want to have a chat about property or your property, we'll provide maximum value to you. How much would that property be worth today?
Today is worth about 400,000.
Do you still have it?
Yes, still have it.
So you've made profit on your rent and you've made a capital appreciation on it?
Capital appreciation, definitely, yeah. I've also done a 6x6 metre extension, so I've made 2 more rooms at the back, and today it's a care home today, so a care home company look after a couple of children, so they actually pay me a premium rent as they've leased it off me for about 5 years.
So now from 21 to 26, at 21 you had one property, your property portfolio was worth 1 million.
Yes. So that doesn't mean I've got £1 million in the bank account. It just means the properties that I had came up to the value of £1 million. So for example, the one that was worth 140 at the age of 26, that was now worth more, near enough 290. So 150,000 appreciation in that. So if you say that's about 300,000, and then between 2012 to 2014, the property prices here in Stratford also nearly doubled. So properties went from 200 to 400,000. And I always done the BRRR strategy, which was buy, refurb, rent and refinance. And I didn't know it was called that at the time, but all I knew that I wanted to buy the property as cheap as possible. And if it needed some work done, me and the builder were going to work on it. I'd get somebody on a day rate, I'd put the materials in front of him. If the walls were worn out, all I know, it just needed replastering. If it was old wiring, all I knew, it was just a new wire that needed from the socket to the ceiling to the switches. That's all it was. And how do we get that from there to there? We chisel the wall, whack the wires in there, bond it, plaster it, you got new electrics, somebody signs it off. Like, obviously it's a lot harder than that, but that's the logistics of it, and I was able to do a lot of mini renovations for like £7,000-8,000 back then. I used to get day rate workers who'd work about £100 a day, materials, and I used to labour on the weekends and in the evenings wherever I could.
So then now your property portfolio is worth 10 mil.
Yes.
How did you get from 1 to 10? And was that easier than getting from 140 to 1?
100%. It's a snowball effect. Once you've got a snowball, you're known by the banks, your credit history is improving, you're gaining more experience along the way, and your cash flow is also building up. You've got 1, 2, 3, 4 incomes. So long as you're paying your rent, you still, at this stage, I was still working in my full-time job and part-time job. And actually the full-time job dropped off and I actually made myself into a builder. And that was a better move for me, because rather than earning 4,000 or 5,000 in the bank, I could save £60,000 on a project doing it myself with a builder. So, but I was like, how do I pay myself here? Because I'm paying the builder right now and I'm paying for materials right now. So how do I pay myself? And then I'd be like, okay, so if I buy, this property's worth 250,000. If I buy it for 180,000, I've already 60,000 up here. And then also the market's going up. So it's not going to stay at 250, it's going to go up. So I've bought it about 50, 60, 70,000 under market value. Okay, so then I work with the builder, I'll give him materials, I'll get the project done for 20,000, so it would be at 200,000, so it's still 50,000 under market value, and then the market's also going up. So that's how I'd get paid. So you then go to the bank, they value it at a higher price, and you say, can I have a 75% loan on this? And they pay you that way. So that was where I could pay myself, but I still wouldn't use that money. I still used it to reinvest in the business.
So at what point did you think, okay, that's it, I need to leave my day jobs and just focus on property full time?
So I entered the property markets at age 21. I think it was about 33. I started thinking that I need to really let go of my security. My part-time jobs is the only thing I used to hold on to, because I only used to have enough money from my part-time jobs just to survive, in terms of I can pay sort of, my mortgage, my car, my fuel, my running expenses. That's all I needed a part-time job for, even though I didn't need it. But I like to have that security, that safety barrier. So, yeah.
Okay, you talk about the growth mindset a lot.
Yeah.
Explain to me, what do you mean by growth mindset? What is the growth mindset?
So there's two types of mindset. There's a fixed mindset and a growth mindset. A fixed mindset is when you just accept whatever's given in front of you. This is a glass of water and that's all I've got and that's all I ever get. A growth mindset is, hey, this water tastes good. How do I get more of it? There must be another way, because it got there in front of me.
Yeah.
It's not accepting what's just put in front of you. It's accepting that whatever I think about, I can achieve it. I can get it. And sometimes we set our goals way too low. We want to be a millionaire. Well, why don't you aim to be a billionaire? What's that phrase they say? If you
for the sky fall on the treetops.
there you go. So it's all about always thinking I can do, and how do I do it? These are the two questions. I can do this. So it's the belief. And you have to push it with that motivation to say, how do I get there? Not, that's not for me, that's for rich people. Then that's a poor mindset.
So you give back to the community a lot now. You go to schools, you've just done a podcast at Greenwich Uni as well.
Yes.
How do you talk about the growth mindset to the younger generation?
First of all, you've got to show them the story. They've got to have something that they can relate to. They don't want to see a millionaire being a multi-millionaire because you're already not touching them. I've come from, humble beginnings. I've come from, 5 of us living in a 3-bedroom house and sharing dad's clothes and having home haircuts. I've got pictures that I can show them so they relate to it. So when they see that and they see that I'm not this amazing, big guy, it's just a normal guy who's worked hard, he's been consistent. He just didn't take that gap year to go on holiday and then lost that momentum. It's all about keeping that momentum, keep jumping from one job to another, keep going for that one work even if it's the most simplest basic job, don't worry about it. As long as you're achieving some sort of money coming in, you're not standing still. So when they see that, then they say, hey, I could get a job in Sainsbury's right now, then why am I not doing that? Straight away, you get them asking questions. And when they start asking questions, that's all you got to do. You got to just get their brain to start thinking. It's just one of these things, like, if you have a fixed mindset, you keep doing the same thing and keep complaining why nothing's working. And it's not even your fault. Like, remember that. When you learn how to walk, it was a challenge one day. But once you start walking, you don't even think about it, right? But it's so deep in your head, it's so deep in your brain, it's just, you don't even give it any attention anymore. It's the same with normal thoughts about money. If from a young age you just think this is what money is, you won't even think about it and say, oh no, that's for rich people. It's not about being rich, it's about being wealthy. There's a clear difference.
Okay, for those who don't know the difference, what's the difference?
Rich is just having money right now. I've got apples, I'm taking apples off the tree, and you've got all these apples, but what you don't know is these apples are going to finish.
Yeah.
Being wealthy is leaving something behind. It's about having that growth mindset of, I'm going to start planting trees. And yeah, I'm not going to see nothing in 6 months or 8 months or a year, or maybe the first 2 years, but these trees eventually grow. And once they're there, they're not going anywhere. They're giving enough apples for you and to share with other people. And it's not going to give you that one-hit wonder, but it's going to give you a consistent, flow of income, and you can leave it to the next generation also to take over if you teach them the same processes.
But when you plant trees, there's always difficulties. So what were the difficult moments in your journey to where you are now?
We have so many difficult situations that we all face. One of my most difficult situations that I speak about was the time when I sat with my accountant and he told me I was a millionaire. He goes, hey, Sean, do you know what? You've got a portfolio worth $1 million, you're a millionaire. And I was like, my focus from the age of 13 was just to make it as a millionaire, because I wanted not to become a millionaire to show I've got so much money. I just wanted to show my dad that we come from nothing. I'm going to make you proud. I can make it. I'm going to show you. But I got there and it wasn't this big magical moment. It was still the same life. It's just a couple of property rents coming in. I'm still working the same place. I'm not looking any different. People just know me, Sean, down the road. And guess what? When you start, if I told somebody, hey, I'm a millionaire, so what? You're not changing my life. You didn't get no gratitude. You didn't get no big party or a big clap. If anything, you get more evil eye, more jealousy, and who do you think you are? You think you're a big man now. Like, you got the wrong attention. So I hit a low point because I was like, hey, what's my purpose now? I've almost I've done what I've set to do, you know, like, why am I here? So I hit a very low point.
So when you went through that, non-financially, what did you feel your purpose was? Because, you know, okay, we're from an Asian family and we are very strong on family values, and sometimes our parents just saying well done means so much more than everything else we've done. But what would you say your purpose is?
Purpose is, I don't know what my purpose is, but it's always to be a role model. And I know I get more gratification, like gratitude, when somebody says, thank you, Sean, you've helped me. That makes me feel a lot better than seeing another £1,000. So my purpose, which is why I've come on social media, on TikTok, on YouTube, I'm just trying to teach the next generation how to put food on the table, because I know exactly what it feels like to have nothing. I know exactly what it feels like, you know, where it's Christmas and you want the latest Xbox, but you can't have it. And you've just got this little toy truck, and then all your friends are raving about they've got the latest Street Fighter game, Super Nintendo and Xbox, and you had to go without. But it's not such a bad thing staying away from them things, because them things can keep you too occupied in certain different aspects. But I feel that, you know, everybody should have an opportunity to know how to make money.
Was there ever a time after you set your goals that you doubted yourself?
No, I never doubted myself. In my head, I always knew where I was going, just like now. I don't have a doubt in my head that in the next few years that, you know, I think a lot of the region knows me. When I go Wolverhampton to a few weddings, when I go to Westfields, everyone's like, oh, Sean, the TikTok. So I already know, hey, I'm known sort of in the area, in the region, you know, or someone goes like, your boy today, you know, he's quite a big celeb, and he goes, hey, I think I've seen one of your podcasts. Yeah. I've just put too much content out there to not be known. And I reckon in the next 12, 24 months, whole UK will know me, and we're just going to keep growing it, because this is my focus. If I think about this every day, if I wake up every day thinking about this thought, if every day I do something about this, I jump on a podcast, I jump on a live, I make some content, I release it, eventually it's going to hit the right person, or it's one of them reels will go viral. It's not my focus to make it go viral. My focus is just to give it back to, you know, the people who I'm trying to help. Gone to quite a few schools now. Going to be doing a talk in a university now. This was a thought in my head last year. I've made it a reality 12 months later. So whatever you think of, you can do it. But you need to keep thinking about it, and you need to actioning behind it. You can't just keep wishing, because there's too many people with great ideas, but they don't do anything.
So today, what would you say your biggest achievement is?
My biggest achievement is listening to my own thoughts and actioning on them, rather than sitting back and wishing and accepting what life put in front of me. I'm a shopkeeper's son. It's a penny business. I've got average 5 A to C grades in school. I'm nothing special. People keep calling me fat boy in school. I'm not that great in you know, my further education. And yeah, I should just get a 9-to-5 job until I'm 60 and live off my pension. My greatest thing is I didn't accept that. And I said, no, I am worth so much more, and I can't wait to show the world what I'm made of and what I can do. And I say that to the audience as well. Always listen to your thoughts and always believe that you can do anything you can think of, you can make it happen. It's just time between you and that happening.
And what would you say your toughest moment was?
Toughest moment, as I said before, when I became a millionaire, I was down in the dumps. It just felt like all my goals had been done and there was nothing else to almost sort of live for, like, you know, like better mental health hit me there sort of thing. But that was one of my toughest moments. But then I had to realign my thoughts and say money isn't everything. Being a millionaire isn't everything.
If you were a superhero, what would be your superpower?
I know this sounds a bit cliche, but definitely to help people. It's got to be something to help people.
Spider-Man, Batman.
Spider-Man or definitely Batman.
And do you love Mondays?
I love every day.
That's good, that's good.
Yes, every day you got to love, you know, because you've got an opportunity that other people haven't had. You know, there's some people who wake up who don't have fresh water or even a meal to eat and they're starving. So you've got that opportunity straight away. How can you not have a good day?
And where can people find you?
Yep, so biggest platform is Seanland_1 on TikTok, Seanland_1 on Instagram, and you can find the YouTube podcast on Sean Land.